name is Debbie Reynolds. They call me the Data Diva. Today I want to talk about the Illinois data privacy and the Illinois deepfake law in 2024. So the state of Illinois in 2015 passed a revenge porn law. The purpose of the law is to be able to have criminal penalties against people sharing intimate photos and videos that were meant to be private with other people, typically in a situation where maybe a relationship had gone awry or for obviously revenge. But in 2023, the state of Illinois actually passed a new law that went into effect in January 2024. Actually, what they did was they updated the revenge porn law to add in information about deepfakes. So the law is called Civil Remedies for Non-Consensual Dissemination of Private Sexual Images Act. This is a very important law. This is a very important change. Deepfakes, actually I got a statistic here. A company called SimCity that is from Amsterdam, they actually are a deepfake detection company, and they estimated that 96% of deepfakes on the internet are sexually explicit content depicting women without their consent. So this is a huge problem, and especially as we know that technology outpaces laws is a huge problem, because a lot of these laws don't really apply if the image is not real or the images are not real. So what this law is doing is they brought in language, including language about a depicted individual. So the image of someone, even though it may be faked by AI, as long as it's trying to depict the image of someone, that person would have rights under this law. And also they brought in language about intentionally digitally altered. So they didn't necessarily use the word deepfake, but they want to make sure that regardless of what technology is or what it's called, the point is that if these technologies are being used in some way to harm, defame, or embarrass someone by using their likeness in a video or a photograph that is suggestive in a way that can be harmful, they want to make sure that not only are there criminal but also civil redress penalties that can be had for these types of situations. This is a big deal. A lot of jurisdictions have been curious about how they can actually address this emerging threat around AI because these images are not real, even though we know that technology, the way that it is progressing, they can be very photorealistic. They can be harmful to people even if they are not real in particular situations. So actually, as of this writing, as of January 2024, there are 46 states that have revenge porn laws. The first state was California. I think that this particular law, the way that Illinois added in information about digitally altered or intentionally digitally altered things that are meant to depict an individual, even though it's not real, is a huge step forward in terms of getting protection for people or being able to have redress for people who are depicted or somehow harmed as a result of these particular videos or images. So it remains to be seen how this will definitely catch on. We know this is a big problem, a big issue, and I'll be interested to see how other states or even how federal governments or different nations will address this issue. Thank you.